So without much further ado, I would like us to prepare for the first team to welcome them onto the stage. I'd like you to clear your mind, be ready to be amazed, stimulated and challenged. Our first team have a challenge known as the Merits of the Terrace, and I'll introduce the names of the people in that team. They were mentored by Esteban Insausty from Lend-Lease, Andrew Porter from GHD and Elle Davidson from GHD. The team members are Catherine Tang from Ventia, Louis Gamez from Optus, Sophie Webber from Lend-Lease, Hayden Days from Urban Growth New South Wales, Jeremy Gallagher from Optus and Ben Tan, CBA. Please welcome Merits of the Terrace.
It's 7:30 a.m. You're rushing to get to work in the city from your outer suburbs home. You rush out the door, you finally make it to your car, and you get this. I think most people living in Sydney have come across this before, and it sucks, right? Urban sprawl, unaffordable housing, and a lack of transport-oriented development are major contributors to this. We all know Sydney has to densify to accommodate its growing population and combat urban sprawl. However, the legacy of the great Australian dream still lingers on through the mansions that we see in outer suburbs. On the other hand, we continue to see high-rise developments going up in inner city areas. Whilst yes, these do combat urban sprawl, many people don't want to live in tiny apartments in skyscrapers. So where does that leave us? If the mansions in the outer suburbs are clogging up our highways, and people don't want to live in tiny apartments in skyscrapers, what do we do?
We believe that the terrace house is the middle ground between these two extremes. A model of housing that provides inhabitants with privacy, access to outdoor areas, and a sense of community amongst neighbours. This scale of density is a sustainable and widely accepted model of housing. The use of party walls increases density without overshadowing the streetscape. Finally, communal gardens and outdoor areas on rooftops provide residents with access to outdoor space without contributing to urban sprawl. Unfortunately, current planning and development processes make it extremely difficult for people to create their own terrace housing. Potential sites are all too often snapped up by giant developers keen to exploit the site for the highest possible yield.
So we've actually got quite a few examples where in Europe collective housing has worked. The Danish for some time now have actually built low-rise housing around a common area to facilitate group dinners and group events. So Baugruppen in German means assemblies, and it's effectively Germany's modern evolution of this Danish co-housing model. What it is effectively a group of like-minded people with similar interests that form together as a group to design and build a home for everybody within that group. The concept has actually been in Germany for over 10 years now, and this is an example in Berlin of modern Baugruppen apartments with rooftop terraces set against the backdrop of the older style buildings. The German government actually allocates land to these groups based on qualitative factors such as contribution to society and design. The great thing about collective housing is that you get to choose your neighbours and potentially share with your friends as well. This is an example of a Baugruppen building with a shared garden with the apartments designed to really facilitate social interaction with your neighbours. We believe collective housing can work in Australia.
So what if we told you there was a way to make this happen? A way to break down the barriers that currently exist, making it easier for smaller scale developments to thrive? What if we told you there was a way to empower like-minded individuals to come together to form collectives, to pool their funds, share their resources, support, and most importantly, give them the control that they need over their own building projects? Welcome to Local. Local is a web-based platform that we have created in order to help collectives bring these medium density projects to life. It allows for users to choose from an expanding list of existing projects, or alternatively, they can develop their own from the ground up. Potential home buyers can join Local as an individual looking to join a collective, or they can join Local as a already formed collective looking to challenge the big developer mentality. The big question is then, will this work? Will people want to use this? We believe that Local works because individuals are matched via their lifestyle interests and the things that they are looking for in potential residential projects. That way, you know you will be investing alongside those that share the same ideals and values as you.
Now, how many of you out there have used one of these services? Just a show of hands. Pretty much everyone, right? All of these services have disrupted traditional channels and empower people to form new communities. They're very popular with millennials who are young, socially connected, tech-savvy, and willing to try new things. We therefore believe there'll be a large market of Australians willing to try our platform. The best part about Local is how much easier it is for all parties involved to connect and collaborate. For collectives, our streamlined platform allows for immediate and simplified access to the construction industry, making it easy for people to obtain quotes and find a construction firm that fits their needs and values. Through our platform, we are challenging the real estate and the construction industries to work harder for Australian home buyers by moving away from the beehive and the quarter-acre block and into a community of like-minded people to build a terrace house together.
But who benefits from Local? Starting with younger generations looking for affordable housing and collective living, organized as groups may actually buy property by paying a fraction of the price per each individual. In turn, current homeowners may actually sell at a more convenient rate, helping to alleviate pension needs for the future and maximizing their superannuation. This will create more dense populated areas closer to the city and CBDs, where most employment remains. This will reduce operational and infrastructure costs for public transport systems, making network planning easier. This will translate in a more efficient scheme by reducing commuting times, lowering traffic on the streets, lower fares, and a better quality of life. But also, this will generate more jobs, not only at construction stages, where more manpower will be needed, but afterwards, when the demand of retail and services will be higher, resulting in a symbiotic benefit between government and people, making more revenue for both parties.
The next generation of home buyers will redefine the Aussie dream by adopting new models of housing, such as collectives. Future leaders in urban design, transport, construction and development will support densification and sustainable solutions to Sydney's current housing problems. A web platform like Local that connects like-minded individuals will allow for greater connectivity and crowdfunding power. Local is our challenge to the current development processes and procedures. With that, there is an opportunity for Sydney's housing and urban fabric to better reflect Sydney's growing housing needs, rather than conforming to the unsustainable model of McMansions or shoeboxes. Local will allow unique and innovative designs to develop, which give everyone a chance at being a homeowner in sustainable and connected collectives. Thank you.
Just stay there for a moment. Okay, I'm in. How much do you need? Let's start with someone who knows a little bit about this stuff. Julian Fracklington, you're from Urban Growth. What do you think about this idea?
technical difficulties. Thank you very much. Look, that was a really interesting presentation. I wasn't sure where you were going with that initially. Certainly identifying the terraces as somewhere in between high density and detached housing makes sense. But then to bring in this innovative, disruptive technology to try and create a marketplace and leverage the whole change in, I guess, collaborative consumption, shared economies is a really clever way to think about how you could, I guess, increase asset utilisation for funding new, but I'd also be really interested to see whether you could actually use the same approach to increase asset utilisation, for instance, for 4-bedroom houses in existing areas that might be underutilised, because I think your platform has scalability as well in that place as well as terraces. Personally, I think that, and I heard the quote once before by Tim Williams from Committee of Sydney, that it's all about smaller houses, shared spaces and bigger lifestyles. And certainly that's what the terrace provides, so long as it's close to transport, good quality amenity. But this whole concept of sharing, I think, will redefine exactly what it means to live in Sydney going forward, and particularly to try and hit an affordability point that works for people. So I congratulate you on your thinking. I think connecting it with the disruptive technology was a really smart idea.
Thank you.
So I think, look, very impressive start. Good job, guys. I like the way you talked about that international example. Berlin provides something like 10% of its housing through a collective model. I think maybe one of the things you could have said something about is housing finance, because one of the stumbling blocks is trying to work out how people can pool their money and obtain mortgages in your new disruptive platform. And maybe that's just something to think about for the future. But yeah, no, great start, really interesting idea. And I really liked your turn, the terrace. I thought you were going to show me designs for terraces, and you actually pivoted into a really interesting concept, so thanks.
Please join me in thanking Merits of the Terrace.